Hello everyone, welcome to my channel CBSE Monk. This is Alvin sir here. Today we are going to discuss the chapter power sharing. Okay, the first chapter from CBSE 10th standard from political science textbook. The first chapter power sharing we are going to discuss today. Okay, power sharing. First and foremost thing, what do you mean by the term sharing? Okay, sharing is nothing but distribution. Okay, simple English term. Okay, distribution. If you say like I'm sharing chocolates, it means you're distributing chocolates among your friends, your class. Okay. Secondly, what is power? Okay. Okay, sharing, we know sharing is a very simple definition. Okay, it's a simple meaning in English. Sharing का मतलब होता है distribution, बांटना. पावर का मतलब क्या होता है? ओके, पावर का मतलब ये होता है a normal person going to gym and making power. No, we are not talking about muscle power, we are talking about political power. Okay, we are talking about the power of making decisions, authority, governing, ruling. Okay, इस पावर को शेयर करने की बात चल रही है इस चैप्टर में. वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ शेयरिंग द पावर. Okay, the power here means the authority, the ruling, making decisions. Okay, these are the things related to the power. Okay, to remember the chapter I have made a new mnemonic code. Okay, the code of the chapter is SBI forms. Okay, so if you just remember this code SBI form and what each alphabet here represents and the total meaning of these concepts, then you are completely perfect with the chapter. Okay, I teach children, okay, to remember the entire chapter, so it becomes easy in scoring in exams. Okay, so the code of this chapter is SBI forms. S stands for Sri Lanka, B for Belgium, importance or reasons of power sharing, and form stands for forms of power sharing. Just four concepts are present in this chapter, and if you are perfect with these four concepts, you are very much perfect with the chapter. So without wasting any time, let's pitch into the chapter. S stands for Sri Lanka. Okay, so we know Sri Lanka is a country which is just a few kilometers away from the coast of Tamil Nadu. Okay, I can say the eastern, okay, coast of Tamil Nadu. Sri Lanka is a country which is just a few kilometers away from the coast of Tamil Nadu. The population of Haryana is 2 crore. So they are comparing the population of Haryana with Sri Lanka. They are saying that population of Sri Lanka is also 2 crore. Okay, they are saying that even the size is as much as our state, Haryana state, in our country, and the population is also 2 crore in Haryana. They are comparing like how much of population is there in Haryana. It's the same in Sri Lanka. Okay, now this 2 crore population is again having diversity. Okay, this 2 crore of population is again having a diversity. The country is having 74% of the population who are Sinhala speakers. Okay, Sinhala is a kind of a language. जैसे हमारे कंट्री में होता है हिंदी एक लैंग्वेज होता है, तेलुगु एक लैंग्वेज होता है, कन्नड़ा एक लैंग्वेज होता है. सो सिन्हाला इज अ काइंड ऑफ अ लैंग्वेज. ओके, एंड द सिन्हाला स्पीकर्स दे फॉलो a religion known as Buddhism. Okay, they follow Buddhism. Then this orange highlighted part, okay, here the people speak Tamil. Okay, here the people are speaking Tamil. So how much of population are Tamilians? 18% of the population are Tamilians. Okay, this 18% is again subdivided into 13% of the population are Sri Lankan Tamils. 13% of the population are Sri Lankan Tamils, whereas 5% of the Tamilians are Indian Tamils. So where are these Indian Tamils residing? They are residing over, they are located over here. Okay, why Indian Tamils? Because during the Britishers time, the Britishers had brought some Indians to work in the tea and coffee plantations. So from India, from Tamil Nadu, many people had relocated to Sri Lanka to work in this tea and coffee plantations, and they got settled over here. And Sri Lankan Tamils are the Tamilians who are basically originating from Sri Lanka. So 74 plus 18, remaining 7% of the people speak both Sinhala as well as Tamil. Okay, I forgot to mention here Tamilians, 18% population of the Tamilians, they follow Hinduism and Islam. Okay. Coming to 7% of the population, Sinhala speakers and Tamil speakers, they follow Christianity. They follow Christianity. Okay. So going to the previous slide, see whatever is written in the textbook we have just discussed. We have discussed that first point that Sri Lanka is an island nation just a few kilometers off the southern coast of Tamil Nadu, which I explained it over here. Then it is having a 2 crore population, comparing it with Haryana. Then the population is having many varieties, like 74% of the people are Sinhala speaking and they follow Buddhism. 18% of the people speak Tamil and they follow Hinduism and Islam. And this 18% of the population is subdivided into 13% and 5%, and 7% of the people speak Sinhala as well as Tamil and they follow Christianity. Okay, a quick revision of this slide once again. Sri Lanka is just a few kilometers away from the coast of Tamil Nadu. It is having 2 crores of population as compared to Haryana, and this 2 crore population is been divided into like diverse population. 74% of the people are Sinhala speakers and they follow Buddhism. 18% are Tamil speakers. Again, this 18% are divided into 13% are Sri Lankan Tamils and 5% are Indian Tamils. 7% are Sinhala and Tamil. So if we observe, we can see only 2 major languages spoken in Sri Lanka, and these people follow Christianity. Okay, so if I add the percentages, it is totaling up to 99% as per the textbook. Remaining 1% are others. Okay, so the population of these people is very less, so that is the reason we are not counting, because some people might be from Bangladesh speaking Bengali, some people from Europe, some people coming from Africa who have settled up in Sri Lanka. So we are not discussing about the 1% of the population wherein they are having a very lower population, or uh, the lower numbers. Okay, we are mainly targeting or studying about the 3 categories. Okay, we have to mainly focus on Sinhala speakers and Tamil speakers. Okay, Sri Lanka got its independence in 1948. Okay, so easy to remember, we Indians we got our independence in 1947. Okay, so it is easy to remember. हमारे इंडिपेंडेंस के 1 साल के बाद श्रीलंका को इंडिपेंडेंस मिला. श्रीलंका got independence 1 year after us. 1948 they got independence, and as we see 74% of the population were Sinhala speakers, so they were in majority. So elections were conducted democratically. Okay, democratically elections were conducted, but we say that people from Tamil speaking community also contested the elections, but because Sinhalas were in majority, we see the Sinhala representatives formed a major part in the forming of the government. Okay, so we see that the Sinhala community representatives or the ministers were present in the parliament of Sri Lanka. So, since 1948, elections were conducted and democratically government is formed, but we see in the government Sinhala speakers are more. Sinhala language speaking ministers are more in this parliament. Accordingly, because they were in majority, they made some acts which favored their community only. Like for suppose in 1956, they passed some act which sounded more majoritarianism. It sounded more majoritarianism because the act supported completely the Sinhala community. For example, what were those acts? Three acts. Sometimes you get this question for 3 marks. What are the acts passed in 1956 by Sri Lanka? Okay, what are the majoritarianism act? Okay, answer would be the first act was declaring Sinhala language as official language. Sinhala language was declared as official language. Secondly, Sinhala speakers got government jobs, scholarships, and university positions. So, whatever benefits or scholarships were the reservations were more prominently given to Sinhala speakers. Thirdly, their religion, Buddhism, they made rules to foster and protect Buddhism. So these were some of the acts passed in 1956 to support Sinhala community because Sinhala speakers were more. Sinhala speakers were more. So that is whatever I explained is what is present here in this slide. Okay, later after the video or during the video you can pause and again have a look. Now what happened, suppose if there is a house, okay, and that family is having 2 kids and the father brings a chocolate, and if any one child takes a major portion of the chocolate, not distributing it equally, the other child will definitely feel bad. Okay, the other child will definitely fight with each other because it is not uniformly distributed, it is not equality. Okay, you don't see equality over here, it's not shared equally. So definitely the children will start fighting. That is what happened even in Sri Lanka. So as I said, the example of 2 children, the 2 communities were Sinhala and the Tamil speakers. So the Sinhala got the majority of the benefits. Tamilians felt alienated. They felt like we are discriminated. Tamilians also asked that declare our Tamil language also as official language and even provide us university jobs, government jobs, okay, and give us political rights. But Sinhala speakers denied it. They said we will not give. They said that we will not give. So what did the Tamilians do? The Tamilians formed some political organizations from 1980s. Okay, till 1980s they requested, they demanded, they asked to make Tamil as official language, to give regional autonomy, means the regions where Tamilians were in more population, okay, their Tamil ministers only to be ruling, okay, authority to make decisions to be given to the Tamil ministers. That regional autonomy also was not given. Okay, equality of opportunity in securing education and jobs. So all these things were denied. So the Tamils, okay, they made some Political organizations. One such political organization which was very prominent and played a very vital role was LTTE, Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam. The leader of this LTT was Velupille Prabhakaran. So this group was so strong that they took support of the Tamils all over the world. They requested for funds. Funds were collected. Okay, they brought weapons. They formed their own army. Okay, so this LTT people, they formed their own army. They trained. Okay, so they used to attack the Sinhala soldiers. Okay, a civil war broke out in the country. Okay, there were bomb blasts, attacks. Okay, people had to relocate. Okay, they had to live like refugees in other countries. They have to leave their livelihoods. They had to run away from their places. Here also in this picture we can see so many people sacrificed. They had become martyrs in this fight. And finally everything ended in the year 2009. Okay, when the leader Velupille Prabhakaran was killed in May 2009. So after his death, it became difficult for the LTT people to collect funds from the rest of the world. At that time, even the president Mahinda Rajapaksha also made the army, the Sri Lankan army, very strong, that it became for the LTT group to carry on their functions. They were surrounded like the regions. The If this is Sri Lanka, the northeast region where they were in majority, they were surrounded from all sides. Okay, and they were attacked. So finally, they had to surrender. So basically we see that from 2009 it became very difficult in 2009, and they had to surrender, and the civil war came to an end. Okay, but from 1980s onwards till 2009, almost 26 years they continued the fight with the Sinhalas, and they created a civil war in the country. And in this fight we see that even many prominent leaders like Rajiv Gandhi also was been assassinated by LTT. Where now why Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated? अभी उनके लड़ाई में हमारा प्राइम मिनिस्टर को उन्होंने क्यों मार दिया? Okay, they assassinated our prime minister. Okay, during that time he was our ex prime minister because he had come for a election rally in Tamil Nadu, where the LTT had planned and assassinated him in 1991. Similarly, the LTTE group assassinated even the president of Sri Lanka, Ranasinghe Premadasa, in 1993. So LTTE, they fought with great courage. Okay, they even had their own uh, suicide bombers. They had air force. So what I am trying to say is, in Sri Lanka, the two communities, Sinhalas as well as the Tamils who were present, between them the power was not shared equally. Means the facilities, the benefits, the governing system was not equal. They were more partial towards the Sinhalas, which led to a fight between the Tamils and the Sinhalese. So there was no peace in the country till 2009. Not only common man was affected, even leaders were killed, assassinated during this process. Forgot to mention why Rajiv Gandhi was been assassinated, because our Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi had sent Indian army to Sri Lanka to maintain peace, which the LTT people did not like, and they were very much disappointed by the decision of Rajiv Gandhi, so they assassinated our Prime Minister. So that was a very short explanation about Sri Lanka. The code of our chapter is SBI forms. Please remember the code. If you remember the code properly, it will be easy to remember the chapter. So we finished the first alphabet S, wherein S stands for Sri Lanka. A quick recap. Sri Lanka is a few kilometers away from the coast of Tamil Nadu, which is having 2 crores of population, and the diverse population is diverse. It is having 74% of Sinhala speakers who follow Buddhism, 18% of the Tamils, wherein 15% are Sri Lankan Tamils and 7% are Indian Tamils. They follow Hinduism and Islam. 7% are Tamil and Sinhala speakers, and they follow Christianity. In 1956, they got independence in 1948. 1956, majoritarianism acts are been passed, wherein Sinhala language has been declared as an official language. Secondly, the government jobs and university positions were given, and Buddhism was being fostered. So Tamils did not like it. They also demanded their language to be made official language, then give them university positions and government jobs, which was denied. So ultimately it led to the formation of many political organizations. One prominent organization was LTTE, which demanded these demands, and the fight started. Civil war went on till 2009. Finally, after the death of the leader Velupille Prabhakaran, the other LTT members, they surrendered, and this civil war came to an end. Okay. So now let us move to the next alphabet, that is B in the code. B stands for Belgium. Okay. B stands for Belgium. Now Belgium is a very small country. It's a very small country in Europe. Okay, so this is our United Kingdom. Okay, England, Ireland, Wales, Scott. Okay, so it is surrounded by other 3 countries. On one side it is surrounded by North Sea. It's a very small country. Okay, by size it is the 136th small. By size it is at the position of 136th. We can fit almost 500 Belgians in Russia. It is so small. It is small but very diverse and complicated. It's a very small country, but here also we see there's a lot of tension. The population is half the population of Haryana. How much was the population of Haryana? Haryana का population कितना था जब हमने discuss किया? It was 2 crore. Half of it, यानी कि 1 crore is the population of Belgium. Now Belgium, as I said, on one side it is surrounded by North Sea. Okay, on one side it has been surrounded by North Sea. Now this colored part, okay, from here onwards, this is our Belgium. Who are the neighboring countries for Belgium? We are having Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg and France. Okay, this Luxembourg. Okay, this is a full spelling. Okay, Luxembourg. 4 countries are surrounding Belgium. They are France, Netherlands, Germany and Luxembourg. I hope this is clear. Next, coming to the diversity of Belgium. In Belgium, we are again having 2 types of language speaking people. Okay, 2 language speaking people. The first are the Dutch. Overall in the country, their population is 59%. 59% of the population in Belgium speak Dutch, and they live in the Flemish region. Okay, so Flemish region or Flanders both mean the same. Okay, so 59% of the Dutch speaking people live in the Flemish region, that is in this orange highlighted region. 40% of the population, they speak French language, and they live in Wallonia region. They live in Wallonia region. Okay, the entire country is divided into 2 parts, that is 59% are the Dutch speakers, 40% are French speakers. Dutch speakers are living in the Flemish region and French speakers are living in the Wallonia region. Again, the 1% are the German speaking people living in this region. 1% are German speaking people. This is the story of the entire country. Coming to only Brussels, the capital city of Belgium. In Brussels, the story is different. In Brussels, we see that 80% of the population in Brussels, they speak French, and only 20% in Brussels speak Dutch language. Whereas in the entire country, we see that 59% of the population are Dutch speakers and 40% are the French speakers. But in Brussels, it's opposite. 80% are French speakers and 20% are Dutch speaking people. Now that was the explanation about the Belgium population. What is the problem over here? Let's get into that. So 59% of the population are Dutch speaking people and 40% of the population are French speaking people. So the majority, we see that Dutch are the majority in Belgium. Last year when we discussed about French Revolution, so during the French Revolution we saw that many elites, aristocrats, people, the lords of manors, okay, landlords, they ran away, okay, because fearing the threat from the peasants, because the peasants started attacking during the French Revolution, and after that until France became a republic nation in 1848. So many rich people from France, they went and got settled in the neighboring countries like Germany, Italy, Poland, Switzerland, okay, and some people came and settled up in Belgium also. So the French speaking population were basically rich people, okay, they had lot of money, okay, they were elite, they were aristocrats. So because these people are rich, they had access to education, and because they had money, they could invest it in trade, business. So economic development also was more faster among the French speaking people. Education and economic development benefits was received by the Dutch at a later stage. So this created the difference between the Dutch and the French. Dutch and the French people started fighting. So what do you think? Even there was civil war in Belgium? There was no civil war in Belgium. Reason? The people in Belgium realized that Dutch speaking people and French speaking people are having issues. There are differences, there are problems. So what did the government do here? The government here made 4 amendments. Amendments का मतलब होता है changes, okay? Changes done in a written document in the constitution. Okay, they made 4 amendments, means 4 changes they made from 1970s to 1993. They made 4 changes, and these 4 changes brought peace in Belgium. Okay, so most of the time we get for 5 marks to explain this, what changes were done by the Belgium to maintain peace, or what was the turning point for maintaining peace, or what were the 4 amendments. You can be asked the same answer in different ways, the answer stays the same. For 5 marks most of the time this is asked. So what are the 4 amendments? Very simple. The first one, the entire Belgium, okay, including the Flemish region, Wallonia region, okay, it will be having a union government. It will have a union government. So they decided, irrespective of the population, in the union government 50% of the ministers should be from Dutch speaking community and 50% should be from French speaking community. So they suggested that there should be equal representation. They suggested that there should be equal representation, okay, in the union government. 50% of the ministers from the Dutch speaking, 50% from the French speaking. But if any bill has to be passed, there should be majority from both the sides. दोनों लैंग्वेज स्पीकिंग कम्युनिटीज से मेजॉरिटी रहना चाहिए कोई भी बिल पास होने के लिए. Okay, so that was the first amendment. Second amendment, okay, same thing, same concept at the local government in Brussels. Okay, in Brussels local government, they suggested the same thing, equal representation, that 50% ministers from Dutch speaking, 50% from French speaking, and any bill to be passed, majority from both the sides. Thirdly, Brussels government won't be a subordinate to the union government. They shared some powers of the union government to the Brussels government or the local government, and they clearly stating that no subordinate. Brussels won't be a subordinate to the union government. And lastly, the fourth amendment was formation of the community government. This is a form of a government formed by all the language speaking people together, okay, and this government will make decisions with respect to culture, education, language related issues. Okay, so these are the four amendments made by Belgium. Okay, all this theory part is been just explained to you. Okay, I'll just quickly show you. Belgium is a small country, smaller than the state of Haryana, which I explained. It is the neighboring countries of France, Netherlands, Germany, and Luxembourg. Population little over 1 crore, half the population of Haryana. Even this point is covered. 59% are Dutch speaking, living in Flemish region. 40% are French speaking, living in Wallonia region. 1% are German speaking people. Whereas in Brussels, 80% are French speaking and 20% are Dutch speaking. And what was the issue between them? French speaking were rich and powerful, whereas the Dutch speaking people got the benefits at a later stage. So this led to the tensions during the 1950s and 1960s. So there were amendments done, changes were done between 1970 to 1993, and those changes were these four amendments which we discussed. Equal representation, okay, at the union government level, then equal representation at the local government level, that is in Brussels, then the state governments are not subordinate to the central government, and finally the community government. So in this way there was peace in Belgium, and the rest of all the European countries were very happy the way Belgium dealt with this diverse problem, or the problem between the two community people, and how very nicely, smoothly Belgium government dealt it. So the entire European countries, they discussed and they finalized the European Union headquarters to be set up in Belgium. Okay, so this building is the European Union headquarters. So you may get for a picture based question MCQ in exam, they may ask you to recognize. Please also remember this image. This is European Parliament in Brussels. Okay, again this might be appearing for picture based question. Okay, this is extra information that I'm giving, which is not present in the textbook. Belgium, though it is a small country, it is having 6 governments and 6 parliaments. So the country is very small, but it is having 6 governments and 6 parliaments. Firstly, entire country is having a union government, that is the central government, which handles defense, foreign affairs and national laws. Okay, and the parliament is called as federal parliament. As per the region, Flemish region, or also known as Flanders. Okay, so in the Flemish region, as I said, Dutch speaking people, okay, and Dutch speaking community together, the region as well as community together have made one government, and their parliament is called as Flemish parliament. These people handle responsibilities like transport, education, culture. Next region. So in the initial discussion, I explained that there is Flemish region as well as Wallonia region. In Wallonia region, people speak French language. As per regionality, this is one separate government, Wallonia government, and the parliament is known as Walloon Parliament. One more region, local government, Brussels, the capital region. Local government has been formed, and the parliament is known as Brussels Parliament. Again, the regional people have the same responsibilities. The regional governments have the same responsibilities. Next, coming to community. Okay, here in Flanders or Flemish region, we see that Flemish region and community together had only one government, but French region is having a separate government, French community is having a separate government. Similarly, uh, German speaking region wise there is no separate government, but community wise they are also having a separate government. So in this way it seems complicated, but in simple, just remember Belgium is a country which is having 6 governments and 6 parliaments. Okay, and I'm again mentioning this table is not necessary for exam point of view. This is just for your better understanding and general knowledge. Okay, so a quick recap, children. The code of the chapter is SBI form, and S stands for Sri Lanka, B for Belgium. In Sri Lanka's example, we saw that in Sri Lanka, two communities, that is Sinhala speakers and Tamil speakers, had problem with each other. Power sharing was not done, and this led to civil war. Whereas in Belgium, you are having Dutch speaking people and French speaking people. These people also had issues with each other, but they made 4 amendments which was accepted by both the parties, and ultimately it led to peace in the country. Okay, so our next alphabet is importance of power sharing. Okay, so next we are going to deal with importance of power sharing. Why do you think power sharing is important? Okay, why do we think power sharing is important? Just 2 points that we have to discuss over here. The first point is power sharing is important because we saw in the case of Sri Lanka, if power sharing is not done, it will lead to conflicts. अगर पावर शेयरिंग नहीं किया तो लफड़ा हो जाएगा. Power sharing will lead to conflicts. Second reason that why power sharing is important is if power sharing is done, it represents the very spirit of democracy. Okay, it represents very spirit of democracy, because in democracy it says like all the people are equal. Okay, there should be equality for the people in contesting elections, political equality should be there, social equality should be there. So this clearly represents that any country that is following power sharing, it is representing the spirit of democracy. Okay, it is following democracy completely. Okay, so in exam, if it is for 2 marks, they may ask explain the prudential reason. So the first reason is also known as prudential reason. Why it is called as prudential reason? Prudential का मतलब क्या होता है? Practical output. For example, एक practical output ये हो सकता है if I am putting my hand in boiling water, if I'm putting my hand in boiling water, so practical outcome is my hand will get burnt. Okay, it's practical. There's no other option. If I'm putting my hand in boiling water, oh jal jayega. That's a practical outcome. So here also we see that if power sharing is not done, it will lead to conflict, and we saw it with an example of Sri Lanka. It will lead to conflicts. Okay, so whenever there is a tyranny in the sense unfair rule by the majority, it will lead to conflicts. And whenever such conflicts are there, please don't think that loss is only for the minorities. No, loss is even for the majority. Again, with the example of Sri Lanka, we saw that people who were from the majority were also assassinated. Many Sinhala members lost their lives. Many Sinhala leaders, the president also was been assassinated. Okay, so the loss is always for both majority as well as minority. ऐसा नहीं है कि लॉस सिर्फ माइनॉरिटीज को होता है, लॉस majorities के लिए भी होता है. Okay, and very spirit of democracy is second point is known as moral reason. Okay, so it is also called as moral because it is standing for the morals of equality. Okay, so the third point of the code, what is the code of the chapter coming back? SBI forms. S for Sri Lanka, B for Belgium, I for importance of power sharing. Importance of power sharing, we have just these 2 points. Okay, and for these 2 points you may get the question for 3 marks or 2 marks also. Okay, so I just explained you this slide that power sharing is good because it helps to avoid conflicts. Okay, if tyranny of the majority means unfair rule of the majority is not just oppressive for the minority, it often brings ruin to majority as well. Okay, and second, the moral reason, power sharing is the very spirit of democracy. Okay, we have finished SBI forms. Okay, SBI I have finished. Now let's come down to the forms. Okay, forms of power sharing. So in forms of power sharing, okay, there are 4 types. One is horizontal distribution or horizontal power sharing, vertical power sharing among the different social groups, religious groups and linguistic groups, and among the political parties and pressure groups. Okay, again a direct 5 marks question answer. Okay, what are the different forms of power sharing? Straight question for 5 marks in exam, a cakewalk. So let me explain one by one. So firstly, among the different forms of power sharing, the first one is horizontal power sharing. So this is also known as power sharing among different organs. So which are the different organs of running the government? Organs of the government are legislative, executive and judiciary. First of all, legislative. Legislative is legislature where laws are been made for the governing of the country. So here you have MPs, member of parliaments or MLAs, and at the local level you have corporators. Okay. So are these people very powerful? They cannot be punished if they do anything wrong. They pass any bill which is not acceptable by the people. People do not like it, but still can it be passed? No. If they are passing any bill which the people do not like, people can approach the court, file a case and they can get it cancelled. If any MP or MLA is doing wrong, okay, going anything again the fundamental rights or doing anything unconstitutional, there is judiciary which can monitor. Okay, in fact there is even executive which is present, okay, to see that such injustice is not done to common man. So is executive very powerful, which comprises of president, prime minister, chief minister, sorry, governor, mayor, corporators. Now these people are temporary executives or political executive who are in power only for the tenure. Like they are elected, and again after their tenure elections will be conducted. If they are winning they will continue. If they lose, again a new person come to that place. So these people are not permanent, they are temporary. Who are permanent? The government employees like IAS, IPS, people working for railways, okay, government teachers. People who are working for the government come under permanent executive. So all these people become the part of executive. So are these people very powerful? Like whatever they do can be accepted, they cannot be punished? No. Again, if any person, including president or prime minister, if they are doing something wrong which is not to be accepted by the constitution, okay, we can file a case against them, and there is judiciary again to take care of it. So, can we conclude judiciary is the most powerful, wherein the Chief Justice of India can do anything? No. If Chief Justice of India or the judges of Supreme Court, High Court or local courts, anyone are doing something wrong which is unconstitutional, by the majority of legislative, they can be removed. So basically what I'm trying to say is legislative, executive and judiciary are all lying on the same platform, and each department, each organ is keeping a check on each other. Okay, so only it is also known as system of checks and balances. So only it is also known as system of checks and balances, because it is on a horizontal platform. It is also known as horizontal distribution or horizontal power sharing, or system of power sharing among the organs also. I hope this explanation is clear. To explain horizontal power sharing, next is vertical power sharing or vertical distribution. Okay, vertical power sharing, also known as federal structure. Okay, now why this is vertical? Because the power is shared vertically. Okay, the most powerful government is the central government, or also known as union government, which is ruling the entire country, which is making decisions for the entire nation, okay, by passing the bills. Okay, so their jurisdiction, their area is for the entire country. After central government, next we are having state government, which rules only the respective state. So whatever rules and regulations or bills or laws are been passed, that is only for that respective state. And thirdly, we have local government, okay, which is restricted to that particular district. Okay, so who is the most powerful? Okay, so its levels, like all three are not on the same platform. Central government is the majorly powerful, then followed by state government and then the local government. So this is known as vertical structure. Okay, because levels are there. Okay, different power sharing among different levels also it is called as. Okay, so among the different levels power is been shared, and about this in the next chapter federalism you will be understanding in more detail. Third, we are having among the different groups. Okay, social groups we are having, then we are having sorry, social groups, religious groups, and linguistic groups. Let me explain it here. The third section is about power sharing among different religious groups, different linguistic groups, and among different social groups. Firstly, religious groups. So in our country we see that there are many religions. Okay, we have Hinduism, we have Islam, we have Buddhism, we have Christianity. Okay, but how is power sharing done in our country? Or there is power sharing is done beautifully, because our constitution has not allowed to declare any religion as a official or a national religion of the country. Okay, no religion is given that status. All religions in our country are same. We follow secularism. Okay, our country follows secularism. So among the religious groups, power sharing is been done by guaranteeing secularism. By following secularism, no religion is been treated with more benefits or with more special treatment. No, all religions are the same. We follow secularism. Similarly, coming to linguistic, in our country we are having hundreds of different languages. Okay, but no language is given the status of national language. No, only two languages are been given the status of official language, because we need some languages to be officially maintained for communication purpose, and those two languages are Hindi and English. Apart from that, 22 other languages have been considered as scheduled languages in our constitution. So here again, power sharing, we see that no language is given the status of national language, no special treatment. Only for official purposes, two languages are been declared as official languages. Coming to social groups in our country, we know that our country since many years and ages we follow this upper caste and lower caste, and how the lower caste were been discriminated. They faced so many problems. Okay, they lost their privileges. Okay, so to guarantee that power sharing, these people have reservations. So we are having SC and ST reservations, where the people are been guaranteed the security in our country. So this is our third point. Okay, power sharing among different religious groups. Okay, by guaranteeing secularism among the different social groups by reservations of SC ST, and language groups, linguistic groups, by formation of the states like Marathi speaking people Maharashtra, Tamil speaking people Tamil Nadu, Kannada speaking people Karnataka. So states on the basis of language, and no language is given the position of national language. Lastly, we have among the different political parties and pressure groups. So political parties, here power sharing, initially there were only few. We see that the first national party, Indian national party to be found was Indian National Congress in 1885. Then gradually we see BJP coming up in the 1980s. Then many regional parties have emerged like TDP, Telugu Desam Party, DMK, AIADMK, okay, Biju Janata Dal, BSP, so JDS. Like this way, many other regional parties, okay, which has also become a national party now. Many parties have come. So today, in today's era, okay, elections are conducted for 543 constituencies, and any party which is gaining more than 272 MP seats is declared as a ruling party. Okay, But in the recent years, okay, but we see that since 2014 BJP is actually getting this majority without any formation necessity for the formation of coalition government. Okay, but I want to explain you people what is coalition government. Okay, hypothetical example, okay, imaginary example, because again don't say sirs, in 2014 also BJP got more than 272, 2019, okay, and recently in 2024 also they got it. But in most cases we see that 543 uh, example I'm saying, okay, if BJP is gaining only 100 MP seats, Congress is also gaining only 100 MP seats, DMK is gaining 50 seats. As I'm saying again, it's a hypothetical, it's a imaginary example. Okay, AAP is getting 50 seats, BSP is getting 50 seats, JDS is getting 50, 100, 200, 300, 400. AIADMK gets 50 seats, TDP is getting 50 seats. Okay. Biju Janata Dal is getting 43 seats. So in this case, no party is getting the majority. No party is getting 272 MP seats. So nobody is a winner here. Now in this case, what BJP can do is he can ask other parties to lend their support. Now he can approach DMK, AAP, BSP and JDS and ask them to join him. In this case, we call it has an alliance. Now when BJP is leading the alliance, he has named it as NDA, National Democratic Alliance. So BJP is already having his 100 MP seats and he is asking these four parties also to join the alliance of NDA, and if these people join 200, it totally makes 300. So NDA will form the government, but here we don't call it as a BJP government, we call it as a NDA government, because this government has become the ruling party. Okay, this alliance has become the ruling party by taking the support of other parties. Similarly, if Congress wants to do the same concept, they have named their alliance as UPA, United Progressive Alliance. So similarly, their 100 seats plus 200 of the other four parties, they can total it to 300 and they can form the ruling government. But we don't call it as a Congress government, we call it as a UPA government. UPA सरकार ऐसे बोला जाता है. Okay. Okay, so in this way, coalition government power sharing is been done among different parties, because here BJP alone cannot make the decisions. It has to even consider the other parties who have been a part in helping him to become the ruling party. Okay, to they have come into the power because of other support, so power has to be distributed equally among them. So that is what we see here, even in the example. Now this image is there in your textbook, picture based question. Again they may ask you to interpret it, what is this. So here we can see two steerings, it means two drivers or two people are handling the driving. And this German government, here it means in Germany there are two major parties, that is Christian Democratic Union and Social Democratic Party, and both of them did not get the majority. So finally they had to rule the country, they had to govern the country together through coalition government in 2005 elections. Okay, so here we see that because they do not have the majority, they had to rule the country in a coalition form in 2005. So we discussed political parties. One more group is the interest groups or pressure groups. Now these groups are the groups which pressurize the government. For example, farmers, Bharatiya Kisan Union is there. Okay, this is a kind of a group, okay, farmers group, trade union group, who protest against the government. They pressurize the government if for waiving of the loans, if there is improper fertilizer supply, improper seed supply. Okay, so if anything is there which is not been supplied or not been executed properly, they do some protests and they pressurize the government. Protests, sometimes they even start burning the government properties. They protest by intervening or disturbing the functioning of the government. Strikes or bandhs can be called to pressurize the government. Okay, so only they are called as pressure groups. So they are doing this to pressurize the government to get their demands fulfilled. Same way ABVP also is a student group which is pressurizing the government if sometimes there is a hike in the fees. Okay, sometimes in the government schools or colleges there is insufficient faculty or facilities. Okay, environmentalists also can is also one group where they pressurize the government if they are passing any bill or law or giving permission to some private industries for deforestation or mining activities. Okay, so these kind of groups are active in pressurizing. So we see that power sharing is also done among some groups. So before going into any doubt section, quickly let us get into the recap SBI forms. So S stands for Sri Lanka, which is having a 2 crore population. Major population are the Sinhala population and the Tamil population. And the Sinhalese in 1956 they formed Majoritism Act, which Tamils did not like. So they too formed LTTE and they fought. Civil war was been created and it finally ended in 2009 by the death of Velapalli Prabhakaran. So here power sharing is not done in this country, it led to conflict. Similarly in Belgium we are having Dutch and the French population, and these people also had differences. So what the Belgian government did between 1970s to 1993, they brought in 4 amendments, and with these 4 amendments they brought peace in the country. And I stands for importance of power sharing. So the 2 points that we saw in importance of power sharing were prudential reason and second one was moral reason. And different forms of power sharing. Firstly we saw horizontal power sharing, wherein we discussed about legislative, executive and judiciary. Power is shared among the 3 organs of the government. Next we discussed about vertical power sharing, that is power sharing among central government, state government and local government. Then next we saw power sharing among different religious groups, linguistic groups and social groups. And lastly power sharing among political parties and pressure groups. So children, the entire chapter is just this much. It's a very easy chapter. Please study, and you can follow my channel CBSE Monks, and I have made even a quiz in my channel. You can just visit that video, and whatever I have explained in this video, please revise it, read the textbook and then try attempting the MCQ test in the channel. Okay, if you all have any doubts, you all can just leave in the comment section. I will try to attend it. Thank you.